it's me, MLB. Here is Gains, chapter 46, and this one is titled Playing the Game. What's Kirishima doing? Mina asked. All eyes were on Kirishima's camera now, and he was just sitting behind a wall listening. Is he the villain? Eureka asked. Maybe he's just hiding to wait it out. Maybe, Mina replied. Just then there was a little movement on your camera, and all eyes were on you. Wait, Yin is behind Bakugou now, and following him. But I don't think he's noticed yet, Kaminari said excitedly. There were a few excited gasps from the onlookers, and everyone grew quiet, watching to see what would happen. You kept low, running from object to object and crouching down behind them. You were relying solely on sound now, because if you spent too long time trying to see where Bakugou was, you risked him looking back and seeing you. What do I do now? You wondered. It went quiet from in front of you for a bit, and you held your breath. Wait, why has he stopped? You thought, hanging out behind the wall. The suspense was killing you, so you slowly got to your knees and knelt up to look over the wall and see where he was, but that was your mistake, because he was looking right at you. You caught his smirk a second before you dropped back down, and at the same time that you got up to run, you heard his explosion detonate. You knew you only had a few seconds to get somewhere before he would catch you, so it had to be a good spot. Blinded, you ran towards another building and ducked through the door, but he was right on your tail now, and in a panic you activated your quirk and spun around to project your beam at him, slicing into the side of the pylon as you did so. He dodged and jumped your beam, but you had a little more control of it now, and activated it again and shot it out again, which just missed his boot this time. Trying something new, you kept your right hand with the concentrated light beam projecting from it, but activated the glow in your palm from your left hand and ramped it right up to blind him. This threw him, as he hadn't seen you do that before. Truth be told, you didn't even know that you could do it. It was just a spur-of-the-moment thought, and it worked. Although your arms were aching like hell trying to hold two different facets of your quirk in an activated state. You knew you had to just keep him on his toes, so kept swinging your beam at him and trying to catch his leg. At least you could slow him down that way. But he just kept evading you. Never let them know your next move, you thought, as you then switched your beam to the left hand and light beam to the right hand. This did throw Bakugou, as he'd been focusing on your right side now, but then had to think about your left. Both, you thought suddenly, turning the light off on your right palm and projecting the beam from there as well. Both arms were near exhaustion now, but you couldn't give up, not now that he was so close. You couldn't afford to get caught, otherwise it was over for you. Just then, out of nowhere, Kirishima came flying in and launched, grabbing Bakugou mid-air and tackling him to the ground. There was a mad scuffle, and you thought that Kiri might just have gotten the upper hand, but it was only a moment before Bakugou had suddenly flipped the tables and Kiri was pinned under him. You panicked as soon as you saw Bakugou rear his right hand back and his palm start to glow. Don't! You shouted, throwing your right hand up just as you activated your light aspect, and just with the force at which you threw your hand, the light actually detached from you and flew at Bakugou with speed, like a glowing bowling ball of light that was headed for the bowling pin that was Bakugou. He saw it coming, and in a last-second attempt to save himself, fired his stored explosion at your ball of light instead of at Kiri, but the kinetic energy from your light coupled with his energy from the explosion caused an even bigger explosion that sent you flying backwards as the shockwave hit you. He too copped a lot of his own fire since the explosion happened closer to him than you, and he got charred down his right side. The split second that his attention wavered, Kiri broke out from underneath him and bolted, running out of your line of sight. Is Kiri the double agent? If he were the villain, then he would have tried to have captured Bakugou, wouldn't he? Or he would have had at least tried to help stop me. But Bakugou was up on his feet now, staggering a little, and you put your hand up threateningly, holding it out in front of you. Wait, you shouted. I'm on your side. You knew it was a lie, but you had to stall for a second. Bakugou glared at you and then raised his arm to wipe his brow. So you're the double agent? He asked in a gruff voice. Okay. I now know that he's the villain, you thought. He's the villain, and Kiri's the double agent. But he thinks I'm the double agent, so he'll think Kiri's the hero. You quickly deducted. Shall we team up? You called to him. He eyed you for a second. He wasn't 100% sure if he could trust you. You had no idea where Kiri had gone, but if you could just get close enough to put the cuffs on Bakugou, then that was game match, and you had to do it before the timer went off. Let's team up! You called, slowly lowering your hand. You had the cuffs in your back pocket. How could you get them out without him noticing or hearing, and then slap them on one wrist? You had to be on your guard. Is Kiri nearby? Would he come to help? You thought. Slowly you walked towards Bakugou. He was breathing hard, but aside from that, he made no other movement. Where do you think he is? You asked, referring to Kiri to try and play into Bakugou's hand. Dunno, he panted gruffly. I can't let him see the cups, so I need to stay facing him. You thought as you got closer to him. How much time has passed? Is the buzzer going to go off soon? A sound from nearby drew your attention, but it also drew Bakugou's, and in a split second you reached behind to grab for the handcuffs, but you were too slow, and Bakugou had seen your rapid reach back and had known immediately that you had tricked him. Oopsie, there was a cliffhanger, sorry about that. See you tomorrow for chapter 47, we'll continue this then.